Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight I would like to offer the reading for May for the water elemental energy. And the water elemental energy covers the zodiac signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So if you have water in your charts on the higher level, or if you are a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, then these messages are for you, although anyone who hears these messages can glean some bit of insight from them. The readings are timeless, so even though they're for the month of May in 2023, if you hear them at a later date, there's still something that's meant for you in that message. I read intuitively, so the messages that come through may not be exactly what the meaning of the card is. And I read week to week. Each week there is a guide or guardian, a message from source, and a lesson or a challenge from the tarot. And there are 4.5 weeks-ish in May, so I will be reading for a full 5 weeks, so you get a little bit of bonus reading at the end there. And with that, we'll get started. And if you enjoy this type of content, please drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new here. And leave any comments, suggestions, or even criticisms as long as we're respectful. I think that's all we can all ask for in the world we live in today. So, your first guide or guardian water signs for the first week of May 2023 is angelic protection. So we're going through some retrogrades. I believe Pluto is retrograde for a little while now, and Mercury is currently retrograde, so that's special. And during these times, the energy for water, especially because we're more tuned into our emotions, could be a little intense. And what this card is saying is reach out to your personal guardian angels, and they will be there to help you wander through the struggles of life, because it can be a little intense, especially when we've got retrogrades on the horizon. And as we're going through this time period of retrogrades and transferring from the winter/spring into a more summery area here in the north, it's a good thing to remember that the energy during these shifts can be a little intense as well. And the angels are coming in to say it's okay to reach out for help. You don't have to do this on your own. And your message from source is falling angel, spiritual narcolepsy. Sorry, I had to read that again. And what the message from source is, during these times of this more intense energy, we tend to want to pull away from everything. Water is, like I said, very emotional, but it can be very spiritual as well. And when it gets challenged, there's this retraction where it wants to pull back. And what this card is saying, and it's a beautiful card, but what it's saying is you don't have to pull away from spirit. You don't have to pull away from source. You don't have to pull away from your angels. They're here to help you through these processes. So when you're having that knee-jerk reaction of you want to pull away or hide or escape, because that's another water energy thing, is when you want to go hide somewhere when it gets too challenging. What this is saying is it's okay. God, source, divine energy is here. Your guides and guardians are here, and to lean on that energy when you need it. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the 9 of Spring. Protect the fruits of your labors, prepare for challenges that lie ahead, and environmental conservation. So your lesson or challenge is really about setting yourself up for success. When you start going into these challenging times, have people you can call on, have meditations that you can listen to, have things that are self-care related to support you. You're preparing for possible energetic frustration in the future, because during retrograde, like I said, the energy can be a little intensive. And when you're going through that, having these self-care routines, having those people you can reach out to and just kind of vent it off, because it can get a little intense, is what you're working with. And I mean, we're in the middle of the retrograde now, so it's a little late to prepare, but having those in place for the future is what the Nine of Spring is saying. So during this first week, don't forget to call on your your guardian angels in particular. Reach out to Source, because there's always that energy, which is very powerful, to lean on for the support, and work with the people in the physical world who are there to support you as well. So your second week's energy is blessings and abundance. So these angels are coming through to let you know that you are way more blessed than you may realize. The first week might have been a little intense and frustrating just with the way life's going during these time periods, but the second week is really about understanding that even though that's happening, you have a great deal more blessings than you realize. Your abundance is very full, and with that, you're working with the energies of abundance of friends, abundance of emotion, abundance of spirit. So your abundance and your blessings may not always appear as like a financial thing, but they do come through in how full your life is. And it's those fullness and that joy that comes along with that is the angel class that's coming through to remind you and support you in that state. Your message from Source is heart, home, and compassion. So as you're working with these angels of blessings and abundance, Source is reminding you that your blessings and your abundance are in your heart. They're in your spirit. They're in your soul. As you're going through life, there are times it's hard to remember that we have that connection to spirit. We have that soul abundance where we can, live in more than one world at a time, and water has that ability. It's kind of in the nature to be multidimensional, and you kind of fit the mold that you're in. With the heart home, you're also understanding that you might be in a mold because you have to warm that icy area you're in with your compassion, not to look at it from a frustrated standpoint or seriously, I have to do this again, but to look at it from, why is this situation like this? How can I improve this? How can I change how I'm viewing it to improve? Looking at things with compassion and understanding your blessings and your abundance, that abundance of soul, that abundance of spirit will feed into that compassion for others. And sometimes that compassion is just being there, just being a presence for somebody else to physically lean on, or sometimes just mentally or emotionally lean on. And when that happens, the one thing that they're wanting me to remind you of, don't take on their energy. You're there to support them, not to become their draining tube. Your lesson or challenge from tarot is the Seven of Spring. Be assertive, don't back down from what you believe, courageously stand up for yourself. So your lesson or your challenge is about stepping forward, speaking your truth and reality. When you are in a position of alignment where your blessings and abundance are known to you and you have that gratitude for them, you're in your heart space and you're speaking from compassion. You can step forward and say the things in the assertive way without coming across as being crass or rude, because you're saying it with compassion. No, this is what I meant. This is what I'm saying, and this is what I mean. And they can push back and be like, no, that's not how I feel. This is where I'm at. You don't have to validate it, but you do have to understand this is where I'm at in life. Being a little bit more assertive at times is necessary. You don't want to be the walking doormat or energetic doormat, and that's where it's kind of like a little heads up or the side story to being compassionate. When you're compassionate, people want to basically leech. Not everybody, but that is a pattern that does occur. And when that happens, you have to be assertive and say, no, I'm here to be supportive of you, but I will not feed into your cycle. And that's that being assertive. And when people challenge you on that, you don't want to back down, because backing down gives them that leeway that they can finagle you later. A little bit of manipulation going on there. So let's look at the third week of May. That card about fell out of my hand. We have signs and reminders. So this third week, the angels and guides that are coming through are all about showing you signs, giving you symbols. Tapping into your dream state is what I'm hearing. Keep a journal next to your bed this third week especially, because they're going to be communicating through different signs and symbols. You might be more aware of numbers. 111, 444, 999 are the ones that they're giving me. Also look for feathers. Butterflies are another sign over here. Butterflies are another sign of the angels coming through. Random feathers. I literally do not have a down feather anything in my house, and I just found a feather this morning. So the angels do come through to remind you in a lot of different ways that they're there. And sometimes what they're doing is they're reminding you that Spirit's there, that you're not doing this alone, and to look for the signs to help you understand your next steps in life. And doesn't mean they're going to spell out exactly where you're headed or exactly what to do, but they can give you a little nudge in the right direction. So kind of be aware of those in this third week. Your message from Source is the galactic mushroom, the divine matrix. So these nudges, these synchronicities, these signs and symbols, these omens that are coming up, what they're doing is they're actually helping you understand the web of life. Everything is connected. We're not all one. I don't quite go with that personally, but I do believe that we are all connected. Mushrooms out in the woods especially, you'll notice that they're all kind of connected. They all kind of grow together in clusters, especially if you find a fairy ring. So cool to find those. But they're all root-wise connected, and that's that divine matrix. And so even in the cosmic sense, when you look at a galaxy, there are little connections that bind a galaxy together, like the Milky Way galaxy. Even our own solar system, there are, maybe metaphysical, you call them gravitational if you want, a web that holds everything in place. And as you pluck the strings of these webs, things change and things can happen. And what Source is saying is, look for the signs, look for the symbols, look for those angelic messages that come through this third week, because as you're moving through life, things are adjusting, things are changing, you're plucking the strings of the webs, and what it's doing is it's activating the shifting that is occurring. So the shifts in life can be anything really, but pay attention to the signs and symbols. They're going to help guide you to the right ways to pluck, and maybe it's other people are trying to shake the chord you're on, and it's giving you the heads up to be like, hold on, they're about to do something. But they're really saying this is about you learning how to play the instrument of life by plucking the right strings. So however that works for you. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Queen of Summer, loving, comforting, emotional, and intuitive. Listen to your heart, intuitive insights you can trust, taking care of others too much. So this is again going along with the second week's lesson or challenge, because it's saying you want to help others so much. Water is emotional. They are pretty giving for the most part. Scorpio gets a little wonky sometimes, but they want to see others happy. With that, you can overgive. You can pour so much that you have nothing left. And so when you're working and looking at this web of life through this third week, the signs, the symbols, you're learning how to work with the energy of the cosmos. If you're giving so much of your time, effort, and energy to others, you're not going to have the energy to focus on the details of what you're trying to manifest, what you're working on, what you're spiritually trying to understand or grow in. So the Queen of Summer is coming in to say, it's okay to take a step back and focus on the things that are important to you. You don't have to say yes to everything, and you don't have to offer energy to people who are abusing it. So let's look at your fourth week energy here. Sorry, that was abrupt, but she pretty much was like, here's what I have to say, and then it was done. So we're working with the fourth week, and it's take a step back. So each of these, this week so far, or this month so far, has been working with your protection, reminding yourself that you have those guides and guardians. You're working with your blessings, understanding the abundance that you truthfully possess, and then looking for the signs and symbols as you move through life. Because during this 4th week, the angels are saying it's time for a little bit of self-care. You've been going through this building process, you're starting to understand things at a deeper level, but as you're going through a lot of this, it's causing possibly some spiritual fatigue where you just need a break for even a minute. And this is saying take the step back and look at things from the broader perspective. You don't always have to be actively involved. Sometimes when you take that step back, you can see the web in a clearer way. You can see that broader vision of what you're trying to manifest. And when you're taking a step back, you're becoming the observer. You're not actively participating at that point, you are observing. It's a passive participation. And so this 4th week is about taking that step back and observing. It's not so much that you have to give up working at it, you're still involved, but there's the advice to step back so that you can see how things are playing out, see what you need to adjust through that galactic mushroom, that divine matrix, and adjust where needed. Your message from Source is, beloved, radical acceptance. When you're taking that step back, it may make other people feel a little bit weird, like, why is it you're suddenly not available? It's because at times you need to retreat to recharge. And the Beloved card is saying it's radical to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Most people, they either become selfish, self-centered, wrapped up in their own world where they forget about the other person or use them as a doormat, or you give to the point where you hurt yourself. There's this radical acceptance, this finding of balance where you love yourself, but you love the other person, but you have boundaries in place so that you're not giving so much that you exhaust yourself, which there's a couple of different words for that, and I can't think of them at the moment. So, but you're trying to find that balance again. Understanding that God's Source Divine Energy is saying you are a beloved creature. Take care of yourself, then you can take care of others. Don't ignore them. Don't give up on them. But if you're not taking care of your needs, your spiritual needs, your physical needs, your mental needs, you're not going to be able to help the other person. You're not going to be able to help your kids, your spouse, your coworkers, your friends. There is a balance that has to be maintained, and sometimes you're taking that step back, and that's taking a step back from social events. That's taking a step back where instead of going out with your friends after work, you're going home. Instead of rushing home, take care of the kids, you're going to a park, even for 15 minutes, just to let yourself chill for a minute. But it's really about understanding that you are a beloved creature and you're a beloved child of the Creator, and that love comes with the reminder that taking care of yourself is just as important as taking care of the others. So let's look at your lesson or challenge for the 4th week. It is the 4 of Summer, being distracted and failing to see magical opportunities, taking someone or something for granted, and discontentment. So as you're understanding and you take that step back and you're understanding that there's balance and barriers sometimes that need to be put in place just so that people will stay in their lane, don't get distracted by their calls of, you just don't care. You care, but you also have to take care of yourself. You want to be able to help them, but you can't do that if there's nothing left to offer. So don't get distracted when you're taking that step back by the pretty flowers or the pretty colors that are there. You're taking a step back to re-examine, to reset. What needs to be shifted, what needs to be improved upon, understanding where you are in life, understanding where you stand within your circle, and that's setting those healthy boundaries, doing the self-care, offering help to the people who need it. Just because they're crying doesn't mean that they are hurting. Sometimes they're crying because they want attention, and that doesn't always mean you have to give it to them. Sometimes they need to learn their lessons just as you've learned yours. So let's look at the 5th week of May 2023 for water. Whoops, I dropped my card here. And we have self-acceptance. So as you're going through this month, it's really working down to, again, reminding yourself that you are accepted. You're accepted by God's source divine energy. Your guides and guardians are with you, but the angels that are coming through are reminding you, and this has kind of been a theme with your guides, are you taking care of you? Have you accepted where you're at in life? It doesn't mean that you can't improve. It doesn't mean you can't have hopes, dreams, aspirations, but where you're at right now, finding that gratitude, finding that balance, finding that acceptance of who you are and the awesome person that you truthfully are, whether you realize it or not, in this now moment, is the energy that these angels are helping you understand. So during this 5th week, really do put that time into understanding the awesomeness, whether it's your cooking ability, your ability to help others, your intuitive skills, your ability to help your kids with their math homework. Those are all things that make you unique, make you special. And understanding and accepting that those are big parts of who you are is what the angels that come through this last week are really working with. And part of that goes with your message from Source. The drifter, experiencing life as it comes. When you tap into that self-acceptance through this month of understanding yourself, understanding the world around you, learning how to work with that divine matrix, you start to understand that when you step back, you can see where you need to go, but you also can see that there are some fun pathways to get there. And that's where you're experiencing life. Life is what happens, and this is a totally cliche thing. Life is what happens when you're making other plans. You can set your goals and do it. Do set your goals. Set your intentions. Put them out there ahead of you. But then only look at the next step, because that's where life comes in. Life can help you adjust your intentions, your goals, things like that. But if you only focus on the goal and these are the exact only steps to get to that goal, you're gonna not enjoy the trip. You set your goal, you look at the next step. And then the next step, instead of being here, might be over here. But when you go over there, you're still heading towards the goal, but this is a lot more fun, or this is a lot more interesting. So when it says drifting, it doesn't mean you're just floating away and you're not focusing on anything. It means allow life to guide you because you're water. You're going to take the easiest path pretty much no matter what. But when you really tap into that, I'm only doing the next step as it comes to me, you start to find there's a lot more magic in the world than what you may have originally thought. So let's look at our lesson or challenge from the tarot for this 5th week of May 2023 for water elemental energy. And we have the 3 of Winter. Reach out to others for comfort and love. You will grow stronger from the situation, sadness that heals. So as you're going through this last week, you're learning to accept yourself. You're learning to kind of go more with the flow, a little less organizing, a little less locked in control, white knuckling that steering wheel. And when you're doing that, it's allowing yourself to reach out to others. When you kind of hit that little wall and you're like, I don't know what to do next. You can't see the next step, or you can't quite understand what's going on. Reaching out to others is going to support you. They're saying that the sadness part of it might be something that's underlying that you're working through, but that's not the main focus at this point. It's understanding to reach out to others when you need that support. Maybe you, during this time, can't quite see why you would accept where you're at. You might be overweight. You might not be meditating every day. Your yoga practice or your weight training practice is out the window. So you're having a hard time accepting yourself. You're having a hard time seeing that next step. The 3 of Winter is saying reach out to others. Sometimes they can be like, dude, look at how far you've come. Look at what you've done so far. Or they could be the support system to help you with your workout, your yoga, your weight training, whatever it is. But they're all working together. This last week is really about understanding that your self-acceptance you have to do, but sometimes reaching out to others allows you to accept it a little bit easier. So hopefully these messages have resonated for you, water elemental energy. And if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it. Please subscribe if you want to keep up with this and other content that I do. I go live about once a week, and I drop videos at least once a week, sometimes more often. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or even criticisms, feel free to drop those in the comment section below. As long as we're respectful, I think we can all agree that that's something we could use more of in this world. So with that, I will talk to you guys later, and have an awesome month of May.